Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Uglyface Gaming here, and welcome to my One Punch Man Season 2, Episode 7, I believe, review. Now, my goodness, has this actually started escalating in terms of One Punch Man? Like, these episodes honestly are getting better and better story wise as well as animation wise. Like, this episode was really, really good on the art and animation. I have almost no complaints. Like, it was really, really fast paced, a really, really good episode, and it honestly revolved around the whole martial arts ending. Obviously, I left off where the other episode left off, which was Suiryu, I believe that's his name, actually getting the first place trophy, because obviously within the last episode, Saitama actually got, disqualified because he was wearing the actual wig pretending to be Chiranko. So within this one, he was basically getting the first place trophy, and they were even saying that he actually won unscathed. And even in his mind, he's like, I can't necessarily say that I actually won unscathed because I was actually, knocked out by Saitama with one hip thrust. So in his mind, he was like, I'm gonna just move on from that and pretend that never happened, slash I don't want to face that guy ever again. So he was basically saying that if he never sees Saitama in an actual martial arts tournament, he should be 100% fine. And this is where things start to pick up because this martial arts tournament like location starts to get overrun by monsters. Now obviously we already knew that there was going to be monsters coming into the martial arts tournament. A lot of people thought that was going to be happening right when Suiryu as well as Saitama were going to start fighting, but no, they actually came at the end of the tournament, in which they were actually looking for martial arts people to eat those little monster cells, like the ones that they actually eat to become monsters themselves. We saw this in the previous episode where one of the samurai's friends actually had eaten it and he became a monster. He wanted all the other samurais to eat it so they could become strong and monsters as well. And this is basically what they were doing for the martial artists. Like, they wanted them to actually eat these cells in order for them to become monsters, because they want their monster association to actually grow stronger. And obviously a lot of the people didn't want to at that time. They're like, why should we listen to you? You're a monster, monsters are evil, and so on and so forth. And obviously the bigger monster, I forgot his name, but he has like 4 eyes and he's really, really big and strong. He was basically saying that if you don't eat these right now, we're just going to kill all of you right here, right now. So I'm giving you guys an opportunity to actually live by becoming a monster. And this actually frightened a lot of the martial artists, and a lot of the martial artists actually started eating those cells. I believe there's like 4 or 5 of them who actually ate the cells and became monsters themselves. And that one scary guy that Saitama actually faced, he went up to one of the monsters and he actually like cracked his neck. I don't know if he actually killed him or not, but he even stated like, wow, like, you guys can actually grow this much strength by just eating these cells, maybe I should eat these cells as well. So obviously he was one of the monsters as well who actually ate the cell and became a monster. And all the other martial artists were really scared, because at this point it was either eat the cells or die, and none of them really wanted to eat the cells, so they were just scared. And we did see Suiryu kind of walking around behind them, and he went up to the girl who was actually giving him the prize money and the trophy, and he was even stating like, if I beat these monsters, will you go on a date with me? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, with that being said, let me beat these monsters up. And it was really cool because we did get to see that scary guy versus Suiryu. Obviously, Suiryu was just a lot stronger than that monster, and he actually managed to defeat that monster as well as all the other martial artists who turned into monsters. So that was pretty cool how we actually got that fighting scene. And the art and animation for those fights was really, really cool as well. It was silky smooth. I have no complaints over the animation for those fights. And obviously, the bigger monster was like, oh, you're actually pretty strong. I don't want to waste a strong martial artist right here, right now by killing you. Why don't you just eat the cells and become part of us so you could gain even more strength? And a lot of the other martial artists were scared because Suiryu was actually thinking about it. He's like, yo, if I actually eat this, I can actually become probably even stronger than I am now. But obviously he got that monster cell and he threw it back to the bigger monster, and he's like, I could probably beat you right here, right now, even without this cell. And he actually went up and he did his actual special move, and a lot of the martial artists were really happy because they're like, wow, he's actually going to defeat the monster. But no, the monster actually hit him with one punch, and this actually knocked Suiryu all the way down. He was bleeding, and it was just a really, really sad moment to see Suiryu get beat twice. Obviously the first being by Saitama, the second being by this monster. This monster was actually like a little backstory because I didn't mention this, but that monster was actually a martial artist who many people thought had died in previous tournaments before, but it turned out he actually survived his death and he ate one of the cells and he became that big monster that we know like right now that's occurring within these episodes. So obviously Suiryu did try to like manage to defeat this guy by doing even more attacks, but when he was actually doing more attacks, the actual monster broke one of his arms, so obviously he only had one hand to fight and he was trying his hardest to actually keep up with the monster, but at some point he was like, you're really strong, you're way stronger than me, I'm not going to be able to defeat you. So he actually tries to run away, but when he tries to run away, that actual big martial artist monster has three henchmen by his side, which are birds, and those three birds actually try to kill him. And this was a really sad moment because I honestly thought Suiryu was going to die right here, right now, because these monsters were just heavily targeting him, and he was the only one that was actually still alive. And that's when he turns to the his right, and there is someone actually spectating him, which is his rival, the guy who wanted to join this tournament to defeat Suiryu. And he was saying, like, why don't you help me? And the guy's like, oh, I'm not going to help you because you're so defenseless. Like, the whole point of me getting stronger was to see you, the great Suiryu, get defeated or killed. And, you know, at this point, he was like, why should I help you if my dream's becoming true? And with this, he was like, I know I can't beat you, Suiryu. You're really strong. You're stronger than I am. So maybe if I eat these cells, I could become a strong monster and still manage to defeat you. And this was really crazy because he didn't just eat one cell, he was eating the rest of the cells, so that was like 4 or 5 of the monster cells that he was actually intaking. And it was so strong, obviously, because he ate 5, that's 5 times the amount that you're supposed to. He actually had like a stomach ache and he passed out. I honestly thought he was dead, but no, he wasn't dead. We'll get to that one later. And obviously with this, Suiryu was actually alone to face off against these 3 birds, and he couldn't. But obviously right when the monsters were going to attack him, Snake and Lightning Max came back, and they actually came back with their full armor, not the martial artist gi that they were wearing. Obviously they stated that they had to go back and get their actual clothes because Snake's clothes protected him from scratch and all of that, and Lightning Max had his lightning boots, which makes him go by faster. And even Suiryu was like, man, these guys truly are heroes for coming and rescuing me. So obviously the 3 of them took on the 3 birds, which led the bigger monster there. And, you know, obviously Suiryu was like, we should probably run from here, we can't defeat him. But Snake and Lightning Max actually stood their ground. They're like, we'll buy time for you to escape while we take on this monster. So, you know, we're not going to defeat him, but we want to buy time as heroes for you, a passerby, to actually escape. And Suiryu actually was like, oh, thank you guys so much, you guys truly are heroes, this is what heroes are for. He started running and he was like, this is my time to actually escape. And when he was so close to escaping, that one guy, I believe it was like Bakuza or something like that, like his main rival, actually turned into a big monster with like 4 arms. He appeared, he's like, where are you going? And he smacked him all the way down. And for me, this part was the sad part because it was just this big Bakuza monster basically just toying with Suiryu at this point. He was kicking him around, beating him up, breaking his legs. Like, Suiryu was basically defenseless. He only had one hand. Like, throughout this whole remaining of the episode, he was just crawling, like trying to get away, but obviously he couldn't because that monster was just right on his tail. And this is where like the bigger martial art monster was like, you don't know what you're doing, you know, you should really come back to headquarters, because all of the monsters are basically saying that if the S-class rank heroes actually show up, they're not going to have a chance. So obviously the bigger monster is like, oh, I'm a dip, you should dip too. And that's when Bakuza was like, I'm not going to get pushed around by you guys, I'm probably stronger than all of you guys. And this is really the crazy part, because we almost got to see Bakuza versus that other monster. The other monster actually punched, and with that punch it actually made a force that kind of broke buildings. And even Baku was like holy cow, like this guy's even stronger than I am, even when I'm a monster and I ate all of those monster cells. And so obviously the big martial artist monster was like, yo, I'll just meet you back at headquarters. I believe he said City Z is where their actual headquarters was located, and with that he left. And that's where Bakusa actually turned his attention back to Suiryu, and he just kept torturing Suiryu. Like, this was a really, really sad moment for me. Like, I actually compared this to the Moomin Rider versus Deep Sea King situation, where Moomin Rider wanted to help all the other civilians by trying to take down the Deep Sea King. That's kind of how I felt right here, but it was the opposite. It was Suiryu kind of crying out for help because he realized that he really does need a hero's help to actually get out of this. Like, he was screaming, he was crying. It was a really, really sad moment. And Bakusa was basically stating like, you really can't do anything, no one's going to hear you, but it pleasures me to know that you're in pain and that you're screaming for help when no one's around to help you, not even these heroes who are right here. And that's when he picks up his leg, he stomps the ground, and you know, we all think when he stomps on the ground that the heroes are dead, because we had Lightning Max and Snake as well as all the other martial artists. We're like, man, they're all dead. But when he actually lifts up his foot, Suiryu as well as Bakusa the monster, they're really surprised because the heroes aren't there anymore. And the camera hands upward, and Saitama was there. Saitama managed to save everyone. Saitama came at the quickest and the most precise moment, and he even said, like, Bakusa's like, who the hell are you? Like, what are you doing here? And Saitama was like, I am a hero. I heard Suiryu call for a hero, and I'm actually here to help you. You did really good fighting on your own, but now it's my turn to take on this monster, and that's where the episode ends. So in my opinion, it was a really, really good episode. I give it like an 8 or 9 out of 10. Oh, we also got to see Watchdog Man and Garo actually almost fight. Like, Garo actually went towards Watchdog Man, and Watchdog Man dodged his attack, and he was like, you're not a monster, are you human? And obviously Garo's like, you're not human either, because Garo actually started doing the, what was it, like the water crushing flowing rock. I forgot the name of his technique that Silverfang uses, but he was using that technique on Watchdog Man, and Watchdog Man was actually blocking his attacks. So maybe within the next episode, we're going to be getting not only Saitama versus Bakuza, I believe that's the name. I might have been butchering it this whole time saying his name, but we might get Saitama versus that monster, and then, you know, the other half would be Watchdog Man versus Garo. I'm really excited for that. So in my opinion, like I stated, this episode is probably like an 8 or 9 out of 10. It was really, really emotional. It really got me, especially with Suiryu actually crying out for help for heroes. Even though the episode previous, he was basically saying that heroes are useless and he only fights for fun. Like, people shouldn't rely on heroes because heroes are not as strong as they say themselves to be. So that was kind of a character development growth for Suiryu within like one episode span. That was really, really crazy. Saitama getting there in the nick of time. Like, I really cannot wait to see how Saitama faces against this man, because obviously this guy is a martial artist monster. And, Saitama actually one punched this guy during the tournament. If you guys actually remember, like 2 episodes ago, he actually one punched him out of the tournament. So I'm really excited for this upcoming episode and to see where this actually goes. Like, I feel like reading the manga to kind of catch up, but I don't want to spoil myself by reading the manga. But at the end of the day, what did you guys have to say? What do you guys rate this episode out of 10? Because like I stated, I gave it an 8 or 9 out of 10. What do you think we're going to be seeing within the next episode? Do you think we're going to be getting 2 fights? The Saitama versus the monster, as well as Garo versus Watchdog Man? Who do you think is stronger between Watchdog Man as well as Garo? Because at the looks of things, Watchdog Man is a formidable foe. He's actually fast and strong, as what Garo was actually saying. And obviously, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you do enjoy these type of reviews in which I go through the main points of the actual anime, make sure to leave a like as well as subscribe for future content. Make sure to comment down below what you guys thought about the episodes. And with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next review or any other video I have for you guys. Peace.